Hey guys, hey, this is Israel. So excited. Channel's less than 24 hours old. The feedback and the support's been amazing. Thank you to everybody who's already subscribed and watched the videos. Wasn't expecting really this much traction so soon, but hey, it's good to know that you guys are feeling what we're trying to do here. Just a bit of a further introduction. Yesterday, I think I kind of focused on my love for sports alone. Uh, this is going to be sort of a barbershop kind of channel. And what it means is we're going to be talking about the kind of stuff you would talk about at your local barbershop. Hey, ladies, you're more than welcome. But we know you don't, well, ladies cut their hair these days. But at the barbershop, there's all sorts of conversation. There's societal conversation. There's conversation about sports, a little bit about politics. Usually sports is really mostly the most regular thing that we talk about in the barbershop, but we sprinkle a few things here and there. And I'm also hoping that we can use some of these conversations to touch on some real life issues, issues that have to do with character and decisions and even a bit about male mental health, because I know we men don't like to talk about how we feel. But I think sports is usually a good entry to talk about a whole load of stuff. Yesterday we spoke about Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, the heavyweight division. We spoke about the rematch, Ruiz's excuses, Joshua's approach. Today I want to talk about one of my other, and I talked about the fact that I've got four main sports I really love and four main teams or divisions in those sports. So there's the basketball, the NBA, the Lakers for me. There's football, Man United, the Premier League. There is boxing, the heavyweight division, and there is what you guys call American football. We call American football. You guys in the States call football, the Patriots and specifically Tom Brady. So I'm more of a Brady fan, or I started off being a Brady fan in his first few games when he took over for Drew Bledsoe, and I ended up becoming a Patriots fan, and that's been what now, 19 years? So I want to talk about Man United today, real quick. My Premiership team, not doing too well. And yesterday when we were talking about Joshua and his fight with Ruiz, we looked at how to bounce back from a crisis. Joshua is the perfect example in the last 6 months of how, as a man or woman, you deal with a crisis in life. My team, Man United, a perfect example of leadership. Now, we had about 20 years of no titles back in the 80s into the early 90s. And then we went and got this geezer from Scotland called Sir Alex Ferguson. And he became the greatest football manager ever. Presided over the greatest run of any sport, in my opinion. What Man United did in Ferguson's reign, from roughly about 1986, if I'm not mistaken, all the way down to, when did Ferguson leave now? That would have been, I think, about 7 years ago. So roughly 1986 is 33 years ago, so roughly 26 years, give or take a year or two. Give or take a year, either way, I mean. It's phenomenal. We won the treble in 1999. We won the Champions League, I think 2 times overall, and then 3 in the history of the club, or twice overall, which is really the only blot on his record that he didn't win the Champions League more. We won the Premiership. I've lost how many times we did. The FA Cup, everything. Ferguson was amazing. We're not doing too well now. We've gone through how many coaches in the last 7 years? So David Moyes took over, and then we had Louis van Gaal, that's 2. And then after Louis van Gaal, I think we had Jose Mourinho, that's 3. Jose Mourinho, 3. And I think we're on our 4th coach now. And so after having one coach for 26 years, we've had 4 in 7. And Ole Solskjaer, I think, is our 4th coach. Yes, Ole's our 4th coach now. Former player, club legend. And I think Ole's got a chance to do well. So let's put that out there. Ole's got a chance to do well. But this would be the 2nd year in a row that we most likely won't make the Champions League. It will be, of the last 7, I think we've made it twice. Again, don't take my word for it. I might be wrong, but the point I'm making is Ferguson, while he was around, may not have looked special. But football is the one sport where leadership, in my opinion, from the coach means the most. Now, in American, if you're in the States, forgive me, if American football, if you include guys like Bill Belichick, okay, fine. Because Belichick is not just the coach of the team, he runs the entire organization pretty much. But soccer or our football in the UK is perhaps the one sport left where you have one individual who has his hands and his fingerprints all over the team. So he trains the staff, he picks the tactics, he trains the players, picks the tactics, he hires and fires the staff, he makes decisions as regards who's bought, who's sold, the roster, the personnel. You have one individual who can make or break a club because his identity permeates the entire system. And the equivalent in American sports of Alex Ferguson would be Bill Belichick. Some would say Phil Jackson. I don't agree, and I'll tell you why. Phil Jackson coached the team, period. He didn't have his fingerprints all over the entire organization for the Lakers. And when he tried to and kept butting heads with Jerry West and then Mitch Kupchak, he decided to walk away. And Jerry Buss, he decided to walk away. But Ferguson and Belichick are very similar. There's something special about them. They're not great charismatic personalities, but they're great leaders because they break the system down and make sure everybody knows their job, everybody knows their role, and they hold people accountable to play that role to perfection. I knew we were going to be in trouble. If I was the management at Man United, I would not have allowed David Moyes bring in his own backroom staff. Because if you don't know, when he took over, he fired all of Ferguson's men in place, the coaching staff and the backroom staff, and brought in his own staff. And I knew there was going to be a problem. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The success at Man United wasn't just Ferguson. It was his ability to mobilize and inspire a team of people, both on the pitch and off the pitch, to do their jobs. He knew how to pick assistants. No single Ferguson assistant, if I remember correctly, has done better away from Alex Ferguson than they have with him. And people say, you can put that as a dig on the coach. I choose to see it as an attestation to Ferguson's greatness. The same with Bill Belichick. I can't think of a single Bill Belichick assistant coach who's left and been a better head coach elsewhere. Josh McDaniels, Bill O'Brien, Matt Patricia. Who am I missing out? Matt Patricia. I keep forgetting this dude. I've forgotten his name now. Brian Flores. You know, these guys all found out that life away from New England is not the same, because it's a lot easier to shine when someone else has taken the trouble to break the system down and assigns you a role that maximizes your strengths. And they did this both on and off the field. So on the field, when you had a mercurial talent like Ryan Giggs, Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo, they give them a free hand. So Ronaldo, for instance, never had a backtrack in his final few years of Man United. He was told, just roam the pitch, we'll get you the ball, do damage. 45 goals in one season. There you go. But then the rest of the team would be constructed around him. So if you played in the same team as him, as Ronaldo, since he'd been given the free role, the rest of the team would be constructed to maximize his talents. The pitch was broken down into areas and blocks, and every player knew what to do. And you could have a great game by the standards of the fans, and Ferguson will kick a football butt at you in the locker room or the dressing room because you didn't do your job. Belichick's the same. When they break film down, they're not looking at the highlight plays. Do your job. If you're a cornerback, this is your section of the field. This is the man you're covering. This is how you run the routes with him. This is how you press. And great leaders are more process oriented than results oriented. They know that anybody can get results in a flash. Anybody can get results as a one-off. But they build a system. A system where, regardless of the outcome, the focus is on the culture of having done the right thing. And if you did the right thing and the outcome turned out bad, they live with it because they know that on the law of averages, you might not win every year. You might not win every match. Sometimes they lose a match and they walk over and shake the hand of the other team and say, fair play. We built our system. We played our system. You beat us good. But can you beat us 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a row? Most likely not. Bad leaders take shortcuts. They cut corners. They're more about the charisma and how it comes across and how they look or sound like and in getting short-term wins. But they don't translate to long-term success. You look at a guy like Jose Mourinho, great coach and great leader in his own right, but nowhere near the leader Ferguson is because Jose's system burns you out. It's not designed to last the long term. It's built off, yes, great detail, but also great charisma. And it's more the whip than the carrot, the stick than the carrot. For all Ferguson's players, including the ones he fell out with, most of them would take a bullet for him. Because behind the hard exterior, there was a man who cared about these guys and loved them and they saw his system work. They understood how they would be the best version of themselves because he dissembled what was required for overall success and broke it down into clear, simple, understandable bits and then assigned each bit to someone and then judged them on what they did because the system was already designed to maximize what they could do and minimize what they can't do. I'll say that one more time. I'm coming to an end of this. Good leaders break the overall. My definition of leadership is this: it's a sum total of interactions. Sum total, of actions, interactions, processes, and systems. So actions, interactions, processes, and systems. I ain't got time to explain. In which a person or an organization or group of people or corporate entity, a city, a nation, whatever it is influenced to fulfill its potential or their potential and then achieve a clearly defined corporate goal. And so leaders find a way to tie the corporate goal to the fulfillment of the potential of each person. They take that corporate goal, they divvy it up into pieces, and they fit the pieces to the team. They don't fit the team to the pieces. This is on the pitch, off the pitch for Ferguson and Belichick. It's the backroom staff, the accounting department, the scouting department, the trainers, the grass cutters. It works in businesses, in churches, in ministries, in countries, organizations, local governments, whatever it is. And they divide the common goal into pieces that fit the potential of each person on the team. And they influence you to be the best you possible, knowing that if you become the best you possible based on how they've divided the sum, it'll result in the general collective being the best that it can be. Great leadership. Does Solskjaer have a chance to get there? Yes, he's a Ferguson disciple. But just watching my team, Man United, because people say now, oh, they haven't got the best players. Man United never really had the best players. Very few times when they dominated under Ferguson were they by far the best team in the league. The Arsenal teams were great. The Leeds United teams of the early 90s and then the mid-90s were also great. Liverpool always had great players, even in their barren run, and congratulations to them because Jurgen Klopp looks like he's about to get them their first title. In the Champions League, the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids, these other teams, they always seemed to be slightly more talented. But Man United had a great leader. And the final thing leaders do is they create great cultures. Leaders create an environment where everybody's excited about being the best they can and doing their job. And leaders are tested when the culture is tested. When there's a bad run of results, when there's what's the word I'm looking for now? A troublemaker or distraction in the locker room or the dressing room. When there's someone on the team who's causing everybody else issues. When morale is low, when the atmosphere is faulty or what's the word I'm looking for now? Faulty or toxic. Real leaders step up and shine through. And I think that's what we've been missing at Man United for the last 7-8 years. So let me know. Like, subscribe, give me your comments down in the comment section. What do you think? Are you a Man United fan? Are you a Man U hater who's happy that we're going through a bad patch? Do you think Solskjaer has it in him to become the kind of leader I'm talking about? Does he need help from upstairs, from Ed Woodward and the rest of the board? What's your experience with leadership in your workplace, your church, whatever it is you're a part of, and how does that affect, or how do you think that applies to sports, life, everybody else? This is Israel. I'm out. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Whatever's left of it anyway. Bye-bye.